In this first example question, we are converting 4,200,000 millimeters to kilometers. How do we do that? Well, since there are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter, we simply divide by 10. And that means we knock off 1 naught. And this is where we start doing this. Okay, so we started off with 4,200,000 and we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So what's going to be our number when we've converted 4,200,000 millimeters to centimeters? We're going to be left with 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, and that's our number. How do you read this number? All we have to do is get our comma and we take it 3 places over to the left, and our answer there is 420,000. And we know it's 420,000 because we've got 3 zeros. That's the bit that gives us thousands. Okay, so now we're going to convert 420,000 centimeters to meters. How do we do that? What's the conversion rate? How many centimeters are there in a meter? Because we know that there are 100 centimeters in a meter, we divide by 100. And all we have to do is knock off 2 zeros. When we do that, we do it very nicely and very neatly. We make sure that when we write the digits, they're all the same size. You don't have digits where some are small and some are really big. And we just cross them off, the zeros, very neatly by putting one diagonal line through. Okay, so we had 420,000 centimeters. We converted to meters. We divided by 100. What's our new number? Well, I can see I've got 4200. Let's write that down. How do I read that number? This is getting easier to read now. I take my comma 3 places over to the left, and it's now 4,200. Now I want to convert my 4,200 meters to kilometers. How am I going to do that? Well, I know that I need to divide by 1,000 because there are 1,000 meters in a kilometer. However, how am I going to knock off 3 zeros? It doesn't work here. You can't knock off 2 zeros and then knock off a 2. Let's look at this number. So 4,200 looks like this. And there's our decimal point. Now, since I want to divide this by 1,000, my decimal point, I take it 3 places over to the left. So what's this now going to become? 4,200. See if you can visualize it in your head before I do it. 1, 2, 3. There's my decimal point. 1 place over, 2 places, 3 places. It now becomes 4.2. So be very, very careful if you get that type of example. Now this next example is much simpler. We are converting 6,500,000 centimeters to kilometers. So this time we're not starting from millimeters. Our starting point is centimeters. And all we do is divide by 100 because there are 100 centimeters in a meter. So we simply knock off 2 noughts very nicely, very neatly, and we make sure that we form our digits correctly. They're all the same size. We don't have some digits that are too big or too small. Okay, now I've got 65000. How do I read that number? Go back to the same strategy, get your comma, and take your comma 3 places over to the left. So it becomes 65,000. And this last step is really easy. We've got 65,000 meters. We're taking that to kilometers. Now, since the conversion rate, there are 1,000 meters in a kilometer, all we have to do is divide by 1,000. And this is so much easier than the previous example. Very nicely and neatly, you cross off 1 naught, 2, 3, and my answer is 65 kilometers. So if I am converting 6,500,000 centimeters to kilometers, first I take them to meters and then I take them to kilometers. Now the day will come very soon when you will be able to go from centimeters to kilometers in one step. The day will come very soon where you will be able to convert from millimeters to kilometers in one step. And that's how you do these questions.